Welcome to day 6 of the communication challenge. So today we're talking about what does love mean to you. So why this is so important is all of us have an idea of what love means to us. Adam had an idea, I had an idea.
Yeah.
We actually all form this idea of love and relationships as children, like at the ages of 4 and 5. And we learn this from our parents, from our role models, from conditioning and society. And by the age of 7, we have a fixed belief or idea of what love is, of what a relationship is at the age of 7. So it's fixed from there, which is really scary when you think about it. Because at those ages, we don't have a logical reasoning part to our mind to be able to make sense of it.
Yeah.
So we had this experience too, and this is why we bring this up, and it really goes deeper from the story. So we talked about the story yesterday, and today it's about looking at those beliefs and getting clear on them, because those beliefs are the reason why your relationship cannot go to the next level.
Yeah.
And it was the same for us. We were stuck in a belief pattern from childhood that, served us as children, but it was not serving us as adults in a relationship.
Yeah.
So what we get in our relationships is a reflection of our consciousness. It's a reflection of us. So we need to be bringing awareness to what we're believing about love, believing about communicating, believing about relationships. We really need to bring awareness to that. And
quite often these beliefs, they're really subtle. You won't know what they are.
Yeah.
So you might have to really sit in silence and think about how were your parents interacting with each other when you were a child? Were they really loving, or were they constantly shouting at each other? And did they make certain remarks about love or relationships or being married? Because it's usually those little comments that have lodged themselves in your subconscious, and that'll be what's directing you to behave the way you're behaving in your relationship.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
And it's so important what Adam said. If we answer this from our mind, we'll get nowhere. One of our mentors says, stay in your head and you're dead. So this is why we keep mentioning, come back to your heart, because logic does not rule in your relationship. It just doesn't. It's not going to work doing this from your head. So again, breathe into your heart, like get in a quiet space, put your hand on your heart, and just really have that intention of having a deeper understanding of what you're feeling about love. And we're going to have some questions that will help you inquire and open this deeper, but it's amazing how many of us, if I just ask you, if you just thought about for a moment, whose love did I crave as a child? Whose love did I crave? Did you crave your mum's or your dad's? And we both want both their love, ultimately. Everybody wants to be loved by their parents. So we know that, but there'll be one that you felt like you never quite had. There'll be one that you felt like you weren't enough in yourself to get their love, like you had to be something else or do something else. And it was the same for me and Adam, and it's been the same for every couple that we've worked with. There's always one. And what happens is, once you know which parents' love you craved, and it might be because your parents left, maybe your mum or dad wasn't around, or maybe they were always working, and that makes logical sense, but you still feel the way you feel. So don't try and logically understand it. Feel what you need to feel around craving their love. The second part of that is asking yourself, what did I need to be in order to get their love? So, for me, in order to get the love from one of my parents at the time, it was that I needed to be strong. I needed to be strong, independent, not ask for help, just do it on my own. So I became very independent very quickly. And I thought that that's what I needed to do to get love. When I did that in my relationship with Adam, it did not work out well. And there'll be a lot of women out there relating to what I'm sharing here, because a lot of women have been taught this pattern from their mums, to be strong, powerful, independent women that don't need a man. We might not need one, but I want one. And I'm sure you want one too. I want to have a relationship. I want to do this together. So I had to break up with that belief that I needed to be independent to get love, or I needed to be doing it on my own, because as an adult, it wasn't working. that belief was literally creating destruction and causing us to separate. Adam felt like he couldn't reach me. I felt like I couldn't reach him. He often would say that he felt useless in the relationship because
all the time
I was making him feel that way, not intentionally, but that's what these beliefs do. So just ask that question. Ask that question. What did you need to be to get their love? And there'll be clues in there. You'll have an aha. There'll be a light bulb as to why you're showing up the way you are in your relationship now. And then you get to choose. You get to decide, like I did in that moment. I'm not going to continue to believe that I need to be independent to get love, because that's not the truth. When I speak it out, that's a flawed belief. It's not getting me what I want, and it will be the same for you. And Adam had several of these beliefs as well. That, you know, I know one of them was that, you know, you'll get hurt if you show your heart in a relationship, or
absolutely.
if you show emotion. And a lot of men have that they don't feel, you know, they've been emotionally shut down because as young boys, they were told, don't cry, don't show emotion.
That's an epidemic with men. You know, this belief that men don't show their emotions, and it's been passed down from generation to generation, and we've now got a generation of men who can't openly express how they feel. We're getting better at it.
Yes, and
as a
part
culture,
of that is changing the beliefs around emotions and men. You know, because that story is just not true. That belief is not true.
No,
so
it's not.
And Adam had to break up with that belief in order to have a deeper connection with me and to be able to open up emotionally. You know, he needed to be that as a child to get love or be loved, but as an adult in a relationship, I was taking my love away constantly because he wouldn't show me how he felt. So I thought he didn't care. You know, when he stood there shut down, showing me nothing, I thought, this man doesn't love me. This man doesn't care how I feel. How can he stand there, not even moving, when I'm crying or pouring my heart out? And it wasn't until we broke this down and got clear on like what he needed to be to get love as a child, what I needed to be loved to get as a child, we realized this is a major contradiction. There's a lot of conflicts here. And, you know, again, there's no need to point the finger at our parents or blame them or shame them. Everybody's always doing the best they can with what they know. When we know better, we do better. And this is a really empowering process, and we're going to be empowering you the whole way through, because we really believe that's how you make change in your relationship, by bringing awareness and then you deciding. You get to change these beliefs. They're not set in stone or concrete. You get to change them. So that's what we're going to be getting you to do next. We're going to ask you, you know, to look at why you think love needs to be this way. So like we've kind of just shared from our own experience, and we share these stories because we know you can relate and hope that it helps you see yourself in our stories. So just ask yourself, how does this relate to me, to be able to get, you know, clear on what the beliefs are for you. But we just want to know, like, what would happen if you didn't behave that way? So, you know, once you're clear on what love meant to you, whose love you craved, and what you needed to be to get it, what would happen if that love was taken away? How did that make you feel? What would happen? You know, for me, if I didn't behave in that pattern that I had with those beliefs and love was taken away, I believed that I was weak. I believed that I wasn't good enough. I believed that I wasn't lovable. So it's what kept me believing that I needed to be independent. So I needed to look at, you know, is that the truth? Is that the truth? Will I really not be lovable because I'm not independent all the time? Will I really not be lovable because I'm not doing everything on my own? And when I spoke it out loud, I was like, this is ridiculous. I would never put that expectation on my daughter or my son or my best friend or anybody else. So why would I put that on me? So this is a great way to really break that belief down. So just ask yourself, like, what would happen if you weren't behaving that way? What would happen? Because that'll show you what your biggest fear is around love and what happens when that love is taken away. And when you can expose that biggest fear yourself, then nobody else can hurt you, nobody else can expose you, and you can see the truth of it. And most of the time, almost 100% of the time, it's an illusion that's not even real, the same way it was for me, and it was the same for Adam. So we're going to get you to answer these questions. We'll put them below. And we really want you to start to recreate or redesign what love means to you, what love and communication and relationships, what it means to you, an empowering meaning and an empowering way of achieving it. So we often make it so hard to be loved, so hard. Like, you probably don't think you have rules, like you thought you didn't have a story, but you've got rules, I promise you. Like, you know, some rules that we've heard, or like that I've had or Adam's had, is that, you know, Adam had a rule that I wasn't allowed to question him.
Yeah.
Wasn't allowed to question anything.
Yeah.
And if I did question anything, it meant I didn't love him.
Yeah. Maybe think about what actually annoys you about your partner.
Yes.
What does your partner do that really frustrates you? Because that's a rule.
That's a rule.
If my partner does X, I'm going to be frustrated.
Yeah.
And there'll be hundreds of those.
There will be. Yeah.
A lot of them they're subconscious.
Yes.
We don't think about them, so we don't know that they're actually there. But if you take the time to go through this exercise and answer these questions below, it'll really start to help you.
Yeah.
So create some time. You only need a few minutes to go through it.
Yeah.
And create some time and really think about it, because it will help you to, if you go through this and then your partner goes through it, you can both come together like we did. And once you both uncover them, you can start to go, wow, well, that's actually not going to work. You know, we can't come together and have a beautiful relationship with these rules.
Definitely. And that's what we realized, that some of our rules were getting in the way of what we wanted.
Yeah.
So, you know, I wanted to have open communication, but Adam's rule was I wasn't allowed to question him. So, okay, well then we can't have open communication, you know, but he needed to change the meaning of what that meant to him.
Yeah.
When I was asking a question, I was actually seeking to understand, not seeking to make him wrong. You know, so you just need to break it down, and this will help you do it. So, and what will finally get you to do is create a new definition of what love means to you, and make sure that that meaning is something you can actually achieve, something you can actually get. So, you know, for us, it became a lot simpler. Like, love is listening to each other. Love is time together. You know, really simple, not like convoluted, not hard. You know, love is forgiving. That made it easier for us to forgive each other, because we were like, well, that's what love is. That's what love means to us. It means we can forgive each other. You know, love isn't perfect. That was another one that really helped us. You know, we both were perfectionists and people pleasers, so we needed to break up with that. So you get to decide. So we really want you to dive into this, answer these questions. There's a couple more questions than normal, but don't worry, tomorrow there's no homework, there's no fun work, so you're going to have extra time to work on this. But it's really important, because your beliefs are what are blocking you from love. It's literally blocking the flow of love through you and blocking the flow of love in your relationship, which ultimately blocks the flow of communication. So these rules are getting in the way of your communication. If we can unblock your flow of communication by taking out these rules and these beliefs, then we can get the communication flowing. So really lean into this. We're really excited. If you need more support, just let us know in the group, and we'll be happy to help you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.